Okay, everyone, let's start. Password, entered. So network is available. So let me click one of those. Let me see. I do not have. Okay, right now I do not have that one. So let's try something else first, right? Okay. So let's create. Bring up uh, system, the Ubuntu terminal. So this is Ubuntu terminal. Okay. Okay, let's set up, connect the network. So password is, so you need to choose a password uh, to connect your home router, okay? This is not for you. Hopefully I typed correctly. Connect. See, this is, okay, network is established. Great. Okay, now you have a terminal. Some of you, this terminal may be, font. If it is small, then uh, on the terminal there are also some of the menu drop down. So in this case, control, control plus, which is to zoom in so that this monitor will be a little bigger. I think you can also set the title if you want. Currently, there is a JUN at the JUN desktop, but if you want to change it to IASP 321, then it'll be IASP 321. Okay, so what I ask you to do, I want to put here IASP 321 dash and your name. Okay, your first name and last name, first initial and last name. Therefore, it will be, in my case, JYOON, and OK. Then you will have that one. Okay. Someone may wants to change it. This is called. If you enter this, that comes up, right? That is a prompt statement. We call that prompt statement 1, which can be also modified. Okay, so the way that you can modify is in this way, and also it's going to be in your homework assignments from this time. I think throughout all class, every time when you practice on your terminal, don't forget to set up this. So it should be PS1 equal, and within a quote, inside a quote, if we want to put, if we want to start with square bracket, put square bracket, and then there's a command backspace U, which means you want to display your name, but particularly I want you to display your login name there. Okay, and then @ sign. Another one that I want you to do is wherever you that is a path to the directory where you are currently working on. So I want you to print work directory, which is available by $PWD. So PWD is a command, but in this case, in this prompt statements setting, you just type $ and all uppercase PWD. But in Linux and Unix command, it should be all lowercase PWD. We'll see that a little later. And after that, if you want to close with square bracket, close it. And another one that you might want is to put some prompt sign. Default prompt symbol. If there is a $, then that is regular user, and if there is a pound sign, then that is a super user. That is a convention in Linux and Unix operating systems. And after that, I want you to put your login name, your first initial and last name. Okay. And then usually maybe greater than sign. Hit enter. See very nicely. Here is your name, and then this is where you are, and $, you are not a super user, and this is your login name and greater than sign. If you see here JYOON greater than sign, that appears as is. $, that is evaluated, and $PW, that is also evaluated. $U, that is also evaluated, right? If we want to make it simple, because JUN appears twice, another thing that you could do is, I want to remove all this up to this $. It'll be a simple, right? Anyway, I have my login name, and actually this is not my login name, this is the path to the directory where I am right now. Okay. And as I said, if you want to see the working directory, you can print uh, that by issuing the command pwd. So your working directory is /home/JYOON. So in other words, if you want to go all the way up to the root directory, by the way, CD stands for change directory. So you can change the directory to the root. CD space / means root. And if you want to see where you are, then print pwd, then it is root. Do you see the difference right now? Here, previously we were there, now here on top. Okay. If you want to see the content in that directory, then simply type ls. Excuse me. They're all directories. Okay. If you see here, home is on top because home has a prefix /. So / is the root. So root, where there is one of the directory, is home. That's where you are right now. So here there is a home, right? So if you want to see, if you want to change the directory home, then you can do home. Okay. Then it goes into the home directory. pwd, then there's a /home. ls. In the home directory, there is only one content. That content is, if you want to see long list of content, ls means list content, space and -l, that's option, then it gives you the full list. Okay. So this first statement here gives you the access control to the content here. If that is a directory, then directory can access as it was specified here. Okay. And then JUN, this is a group, and this is myself, and this is a size, and I have timestamp here. Okay, it was created at that time. I'm not sure time currently. What is it? Sunday 20. Oh, this is almost correct, right? Okay. So if we want to access into this directory, then you can do change directory, JYOON again, and then pwd, then you are there as we saw in the beginning. ls -l, then again, there we have a lot of others given, right? Many of them are right now empty, but still, that is it. Okay. I'm going to follow the slide pretty much. So I wanted to read the slide as you wish. Right now we have directories. The way that you can see here in the long list, also available here in only the name of that, right? Title of that content. If you see here, they're all start with D. D means directory, right? So all the content in your home directory are the subdirectories, right? There is no um, file that you can access, right? So we can also create a file. The simple way that you can create is the command touch followed by file name. But touch is well, almost all the Linux command start with the command itself. In this case, touch. Um, in the earlier case, for example, list, then ls. ls is a command, and then there is an option. Option is -l. So option, sometimes there is a single dash, or some other cases double dashes. So depending upon it is written, then you can follow that. All right. And after that parameter, if it is required, right? All such things can be found. For example, oh, how can I see all of those? Is there any detailed specification? For example, touch. I wanna read. I wanna see what it is. Okay, is the command doing what, with what options, and something like that. Uh, the Linux has a manual already available. So you simply type man followed by the command that you want to see. In this case, touch. This command, man, M-A-N, this follows the format of Linux command, right? man, that is a command. That command takes a parameter, which is a sample command that you want to see the description. So touch in this case is the parameter to the command man. Man is a manual command. So let's see what it is. Hit enter. Then there is a command description about touch. Touch, there's a name touch, and short explanation, it says change file timestamps. Okay, and the description, update the access and modification times of each file to the current time. So whenever hacker comes in and touch any content in your directory, then this touch command is activated and change the time of modification or access by watching that the timestamps. You may be able to see what happens. Okay, there's a small thing that you can do. And then see bottom, there is a -a, which is the option. If you put -a, then change only screen access time. And then if you want to see one more line, then you can simply hit enter. If you hit enter, then enter button, then it goes up line by line. Okay. So all details you may be able to read. If you want to see the page by page, then hit spacebar. Then it goes page by page. If you see there, some options has only one dash. Some option has two dashes, right? So if you see two double dashes, then option there is a more readable version. Okay. In this case, for example, all, but rather than if you have a single all, then it means reference. If you want to see double all, double dash, then you need to spell out reference. Okay. Okay. So at any moment in that manual, if you want to quit, then simply press button Q for quit. All right. So you know what it is. So let's touch it. A file which is not available, non-existing file. If it is touched, then file is created with no content. Okay, so you name it, whatever you want to do. So in this case, I can do my first touch.txt file and ls -l. Then you can see here my one touch.txt is just created. Okay, if we see this file, size of that file is 0. Okay, nothing there. If you want to add some content into that file, then you can bring up an editor, or you can simply enter some statement into that file. And there is a command, echo command. If you want to see what it is, then I want you to read a manual. But if you do echo, then whatever I type after that echo will be echoed in on the terminal. Okay. So for example, so when I type that, whatever I type, right? When I type from here there, that echoed, right? There, if you want to press up arrow button, if you have an up arrow button on your keyboard, then try that. Then up arrow button, reverse to access the command. So if you press up arrow button more and more, then it goes the backward. If you bring it back to certain point, this is the previous. If I do one more time, then that is a current, right? So press up arrow or down arrow, up arrow. If you want to redo that, then hit enter simply there. Okay, again up arrow one more time. Now you want to echo that one to the file that you just created by touching, right? So my one touch.txt. The question is, by doing echo, can I save this whatever the text that I echoed into a file name? It is possible. So a space and then greater than sign. It looks like an arrow, right? Greater than sign to that file. So my first touch. So if you do not want to type, if it is very long, then right there, if you hit a tab button, then it brings up entire. Okay. If there is only one matches for the rest of the file name. Okay, and then hit enter. Right now, apparently this echo did not echo to the next line. The other two, we have next line, that one, right? But not here. So let's try if that file size increased. If you come back here, this file, the size is 31. Oh, a little bit increased, right? So someone wants to see, is it really there? Then there is a command called cat. Uh, cat and file name. This is wrong. So let me. Uh, okay. So you can do cat and my first touch, right? And then hit enter. Then the content is displayed. Okay. So what is cat? If you want to see the cat, then you can see the manual of cat. So by typing MAN and space CAT, and you see what it is. So cat means there's a concatenate files and print on the standard output. All right. So as you could see previously, when I see cat followed by file name, then it print the content of the file on the standard output. Standard output in this case is nothing but terminal that you have, right? Okay, so I want you to read the rest. Someone wants to see not only the display but modify using an editor. There are a couple of editors available, but the primitive editor that comes with the Linux operating system is VI editor. Okay, VI stands for Visual Editor. When it was first invented, maybe half century ago, it was really a visual editor. But right now, it is not visual. It is a really outdated editor. Okay, while it was a visual editor, uh, the editor before the visual editor invented it, there is only line editor available. So line editor is far advanced from punch card that 1950s or 60s widely used. You may see that in some of the older movies uh, about computer technologies. Okay, so that is VI. So if you want to see the manual, I think there is a long uh, size of the manual, so you can see it. So MANVI, and this manual is very very long. I want you to read this manual at least once in your life, um, and those who wants to continue to work on Linux, for example, if you want to be an expert on mobile technologies, if you want to see uh, the file systems of iPhone or Android phones uh, at the lowest level, then uh, since the size of operating systems and device is very very small, it's not like your laptop. There's a smartphone, so it has a minimum capabilities. Of course, there is no fancy editors available. Even so, VI editor comes with it by default. So still you can work on uh, to enhance some of your smartphone systems at the lowest level. Okay, so VI editor is worth trying. So in this Linux class, I strongly encourage you to use VI editor. At the first few times, VI editor is really really tough and uh, embarrassing. But if you uh, remember how it behaves carefully, it's not really bad at all. I'm going to explain a little bit right now. Uh, every time when I do uh, the button that I'm going to tell you, okay? All the buttons, the way that you press button, sometimes it is just a command, and some other times it is just the letter that you hit the button. Okay, so button keep the all the keyboard, the keys available on your keyboard is not necessarily uh, uh, the type settings as it is. Okay, uh, so current computer without VI editor, all others keyboard is just type text, right? If you type H, then that is H. It has no command at all. But VI editor, if you type H, then H is not, sometimes it's not just type H, but it has a command. Okay, it moves, for example, the cursor backward. Similar to if you type U, then that is up arrows, down arrows. And if you want to uh, delete whole line, then for example, D for delete. It's not type D. Okay, let's try to do that. Right now, the file name that we touched was my one touch.txt. So vi space and the file name. Open up. Then, as you can see, that is the editor. Okay. If you see bottom here, it says the file name and one line and 31 characters. And then 31 characters appears on top, right? If right there, the cursor, you want to see, you have to see the cursor very carefully. Right now, cursor is on the first character of that editor, right? If you want to move this cursor to right, right now you have a right arrow. I'm using a right arrow. That works. That works perfectly fine. But at the same time, if you press L, okay, L, then it goes right. It moves right. If you type, if you press H, then it goes left. Okay, it's like a left arrow and right arrow. Okay, if you want to see right here, if you want to send your cursor to the end of that line, um, current keyboard has maybe end button. You may do so, but in VI mode, if you simply holding down Shift button and A, then it goes all the way to the end of that line. Not only that, right now it is insert mode. So right there, if you keep type, if you see here, keep typing, it types, right? And then hit enter, it goes to the next line. I am still typing and goes next line and next line. At any moment, if you want to switch the mode to the command line, then you have to press escape button. Watch this. If I press escape button, see what happens on the bottom. When I touch escape button, but in this case, nothing happens, but some one has some others. Right here, if I press K, then it goes up, and J, it comes down, right? Goes up, comes down, right? Here, if you want to insert further, then type I, I typed I, and then I can still type J for example, down arrow, right? It typed, right? And now when I press escape button, and then if I press J, it goes J, then it goes left and right. Okay, and escape button again. If you want to save and get out from this editor, then escape button, and then colon. Colon is shift, holding down shift and colon. See, then bottom of that editor, now colon appears and blinking, right? There, if you want to do W for right, there's a small W, and then exclamation mark, then it says 4 lines saved, 85 characters written, right? Previously, still 1 line until it is saved. And if you want to get out of this, then don't forget to press escape button. Escape button. It doesn't matter how many times that you press escape button. It doesn't affect it at all. But make sure that before you do anything, if you want to make your button as a command line, I mean some command function, then escape. I keep pressing escape, and then holding down shift and ZZ. Okay, zebra, double ZZ. Then it goes out. All right. Hit ls minus ls minus L, and right now my touch goes up, right? 85 bytes. Okay. First thing that you need to do is the slide. So basically, Linux is a lowercase. Their example is head -30 and file name. But head is another command. Head gives you the whatever line that you want to specify. So option is number 2. So I want to see the top 2 lines from the file that I uh, specify here. Then it returns 2 lines only, right? If we want to see uh, all, then as we did, you simply type cat and my first touch. Then it gives you all all the lines, right? Echo, whatever that. Next slide explains installation managers. Ours is Debian version. So Ubuntu is one of distributions of Debian. So when you to update and upgrade or install, we need to use apt-get. But Red Hat or Mac OS, I think Mac OS is better to use Brew. So I have to install Brew. Brew, Brew is not comes with Mac OS, so you have to download and install. For another distributors, may use Yum, Y-U-M. That is nothing but apt-get. So let's practice. There's apt-get update. We have updated command and upgrade command. Update is to update the package. That is a manifest package, manifest files that contains all the packages, all the locations where your Linux operating systems reference to. Okay, so that is update. So before you upgrade, you better do apt -get update, and that manifest file is not your file. That is a system file. So you do not have any privileges to do that. But you are the person who installed Ubuntu, and then as you install, it asks you to enter your name. So your name is already is not your name is not your login name is not just arbitrary user login name, but your login name is actually uh, it's kind of super privileged. Uh, so what you can do is that you can do sudo sudo and then space get apt-get update. Let's try without it, without sudo. So apt-get update. See what happens. Reading package listed on unable to lock directories. problem unlinking the problem. So there is some problem, and one of the problem there is permission denied, right? Permission denied. So that is a reason why permission denied. You are not permitted to do that, but actually you are the person who installed this Ubuntu, right? You somehow has that privileges. So you can do type sudo upfront sudo space apt dash get space update. What sudo command can do is that you can do as a super user. SU means super user. So what the super user does also can be done by you. So there is a sudo. So hit enter. And then it asks you to enter your password. Now it goes, right? It updates. Okay, so it is done. And then you can do upgrade. But upgrade takes um, time. So I want you to do that on your own. Okay. What upgrade can do is that all the packages already installed, uh, as the manifest file is updated. You know that we did that right in the previous command. As the manifest type is updated, all the packages are correspondingly upgraded. So your Ubuntu visits the URL and bring all the packages that are installed on your platform will be upgraded. So it takes time. What I want to do, so you have to do that. I will do that also, right? At uh, the last command of for the last command of today's lecture. Uh, so before we do, one of the things that I ask you to do right now, if you see here application, then internet. Right now, Firefox there, right? I think it is a Chromium web browser. If this is not, I'm not sure if I installed this. Okay, if it's not installed, then this is the way that you can install. Sudo apt get install. So whatever packages that you want to install, you have to do this. Sudo apt-get install followed by the package name. Package for Chrome browser is yeah ROMIUM dash browser. That is browser. So if you want to run that browser, then Chromium browser, you may be able to type that. You may do this, and then space ampersand. Ampersand means I wanna run it as a background, so it runs as anyway, right? So there is a Chromium. So if you do www.cnn.com, then that comes, right? So let me close this. But you can bring up here applications and internet, then first item in that menu. This also works, right? So for example, beautiful, right? So another thing here, www.sitesecure.org. That is our center website, right? In the center, recently I created another web site. I think I like this. I made this using CSS, JavaScript, and of course HTML, right? If you move your mouse in this way, wow, this is beautiful, right? So it changes something like this. And another thing that I did is mQbC. Then some of the things that you can download, and the one that I like here is if you click to see student something that is also possible, right? If you click one of these, then it comes up quick. Let me close this and back. Coding for phone. For photos, click here. The full size photos. So if you bring your mouse here, then it's another. It changes, right? Something like this. Okay. Anyway, this is something about your web browser. All right. So we installed Chromium. And next slide, I think I did that already. And manual I did, ls pw cd. Okay, make directory. Here we did we created we created the file, right? My one touch.txt. If I want to create a directory, then the command is mkdir and 321, the directory name, hit enter and see ls-l, then you can see that this is the directory name. Apparently it starts with the D, and owned by me and things like that, right? RM is for remove a file. RMDIR, remove directory. Move, if we want to move file location or file name, then it'll be a move. You can use a move. For example, I want to move 321 to 221. That is also possible. See, now it is 221. You can bring it back 321. So move 221 to 321. Then back to 321. File name also move. So one same command can do for file and also directory. So my first touch.txt to another file. So your first ch.txt, that is also possible. See, it is not anymore my, but your first touch.txt. You can move it back if you want to. And copy. If you want to copy that file, then command for copy is cp. Copy has two arguments. First argument is it's a file that the source file. You first touch OUCH. Hold on. CP. Your first txt2 my first txt. Then as you can see here, I have my one THD and your one touch because copied. Cat, we concatenate all the files. More, less, head, tail, they are all similar. Head, as we looked at, it gives you the top. More, it comes from the top, but page by page. Tail from the back. And then we have very, very important command, two commands, where is and which. Those two commands. Okay, where is or which. Remember that we installed let's try to do Python, okay? So I want to see what version of Python that I have. Okay, so where is command locates all instances of a command. So if I type where is Python, then it lists all the locations where my Python is. So usr.bin has a Python 3.5. Then there is another Python 2.7. So basically, I have a Python 2.7 and Python 3.5, right? So it lists all the locations where the Python command exists. Similarly, but not exactly the same, but uh, there is a command called which. So which gives us the instance of a command being executed. So among those, which one is really executed? So for example, which Python, then it gives me, oh, that comes from USR bin Python. But if I do which Python 3, then it comes from USR bin Python 3. So I might have two different directory Python, right? So when I go USR bin for binary file, binary directory, then I might be able to see two different directories, right? Or the commands. So let's see. CD USR bin ls. Then I might have a Python all the way back up. Oops, where is people Python? Oh, this up already. It's overflowed. So ls minus l, and if I type ls minus l, it's a long list, right? It goes quick. Another thing that this is very useful. I'm going to explain this more later, but for that reason that I cannot see Python, which Python. So ls minus l, and then pipe, like a vertical bar, and then you can do grep. I want to grep Python, and it gives you everything about Python, right? From here, we have a Python 2.7, Python 3.5. They're all Python, right? There's a directory. So here, ls Python and cd Python and ls. Oh, we don't have Python. pwd, where are we? Okay, so there's no Python. There's no Python. Then Python 3. Python 3 is not a directory. Oh, there is just a file, right? So simply ls minus l. No, we can do ls Python and star. Star means wildcard. Is there any Python? Is there any file starting with python? So that we have many files: Python, Python 2, Python 3, and so on and so forth, right? Python. If you do Python, Oh, there's a directory, Python 3.5. Let's see. Is it directory? No. Yeah, right. Oh, it's not directory. So Python, for example, Python. Oh, okay. So command line is Python 2.7 and Python 3.5, Python 3.5m. Okay, those are the command line. What happened here? Python. If you type Python, there is an arrow sign, and Python 2.7, Python 2, then Python 2.7, and if you type Python 3, then it goes to Python 3.5. What happens here is that if you type Python, if you simply type Python, then it brings up the version 2.7, right? The reason for that here is that if you type Python only, then there is a symbolic link. If you type Python, then the Linux internally brings Python 2.7, which is this. Okay, that's what it is. Because you simply type Python, therefore it brings up Python 2.12. Let me quit this. If you type Python 3, then there is a Python 3.5. Why? Because Python 3, if we type Python 3, then internally it brings Python 3.5. Of course, if you type Python 2, then it brings up Python 2.7. So Python 3.5 and Python 3 both brings up the same command, right? Okay, that is which and where. Where is command? File archive is also possible. If you have multiple files but archive those files, it is like compress. Okay, multiple files can be compressed into one file name. That is also possible. Okay, so in our case, if we want to make tar means tape archive. Tape archive. TAR VCF. So I want to compress, and then we can say touched.tar, because we have two touch files, right? And followed by my first touch.txt. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, here right now pwd is /usr/bin, where I was, where is my home, which is /home/JYOON. Is there anywhere that I can, yeah, I know how to get to that, right? I can do cd/home. If I am smart, then I know how to get, right? And hit enter, it goes. Or there is a shortcut. Wherever you are, if you type cd and simply hit enter, it brings you back home. Okay? So going back home is simple and quick in Linux. You don't have to worry about it, right? You may not be missing from home. So we are there, and then I'm going to do tar minus uh, VCF. VCF means V is a vowel. We can see it's not silent compressing, but I may be able to see if there are like 100 of files to be compressed, then I each of those files will be displayed. That is for V. C, that is for compress. If you want to do decompress, which means extract, then instead of C, we need to do X. F for files. So we want to make a tar file. So tar file is touch.tar. Tar file better to have the extension tar, and then my first touch.txt, and then your first touch.txt. Okay, two files will be tar. See, that is verbally displayed. Two of those, right? Let's see, ls minus l. Right now, this is my file. This is another, and then I have a tar file. This is tar file. This is not a directory, but this is a file. It's called tar. If we want to see the type of file, what is the type of file? For example, my first touch file. My first touch file, when I see the characteristics of my file, then it shows me that is ASCII text, right? On the other hand, if I do file touched, then it says POSIX tar archive, GNU, right? Portable operating systems interface exchange, something like that. There is a POSIX. There is a command. There is a Linux command, and tar archive, GNU. GNU stands for GNU is not Unix. GNU, G for GNU, N for not, U for Unix. Funny, right? That's a recursive definition. Okay, there is a tar. If we want to do on tar, then it's simply the way that we did the tar, but going to our tar file is that, and then this should be X. Then it'll be on tar. Okay. Anyway, it is there. There is a tape archive, and another command for compress is gzip. So zip. That works also, right? So you may use that. Okay. Finally, as we did, I want to do sudo apt-get. We did the update, so now upgrade. It takes, type Y for yes, a lot of time. Okay, so right now upfront there is a 9%, 10%. It goes up to 100%. Okay, It takes a while, so I'm going to stop today's lecture here. I'll see you next week.